So, Scott the Anarchist. I love the quote by Bastiat, man. I love the quote. Just because, we don't want government to do something doesn't mean that we don't want it done at all. And, I run into this all the time, being a libertarian, when you say, I don't think government should provide welfare. People say, oh, well, you want poor people to starve, No, I want to help poor people. I just don't think it's the government's job to help poor people. Same thing with public education. Oh, you don't want our kids to be educated. You just want this uneducated populace that's going to be a bunch of dummies. No, I want our children educated. I just don't want the government educating our children because they do a sorry job at it. And on down the line. Same thing with Medicare. Same thing with Social Security. Food stamps, WIC, etc., etc. And so what you're saying is, hey, guys, just because I don't want the government prosecuting crimes like murder and rape doesn't mean I don't want crimes like murder and rape prosecuted. There's an alternative method of dealing with this problem. And I've read, I believe it's Stefan Molyneux. At any rate, I read his article on stateless prisons. I read another article on stateless prisons from a guy, a blogger, whose blog is called Radical Libertarian. And I get the concept, But the one thing that they said in there was, everybody's involved in these dispute resolution organizations, and somebody, once you're convicted of this crime, and to me it's unclear who maintains the court system and who drafts the jury and who has the power to convict. It seems like a state operation to me, but I can imagine that there might be a voluntary system where all those things can happen. But once they're convicted, that somebody shows up on their doorstep and says, come with me, either you live the rest of your life in misery, unable to eat, or exist on anybody else's property, and die, or come with me and, go to this quote-unquote jail, where you're performing work or something as punishment. And the article says something along the lines of what rational adult, what person in their right mind would choose the former and deny the latter. Well, that's like saying what person in their right mind would choose to be shot. If you're doing a life sentence, and your life is effectively going to be over, or I don't know if the death penalty is allowed under this type of situation, but if you're saying, come with me and let the rest of your life be non-existent or miserable, or go out there and try to rob, steal, and make a go of it, that's like pointing a gun at somebody and saying, do you want me to shoot you or not? A person's survival instincts are going to take over and they're going to run from that. That's if they're rational. Furthermore, I reject the notion that these people involved in murder and rape are rational people. And I think citizens have a duty to protect one another from the future activities of this individual as well. Otherwise, why enter into the agreement of a society? Tell me, if a man's being convicted of murder and you show up to his doorstep and say, come with me, and he says no, you're just going to let him go and subject your fellow citizens to whatever crimes he may choose to commit in the future? I don't think that's liberty. I think there's an obligation there to protect your citizens, the citizens of a society, from the future activities. And so far as I've researched, I don't see where their protection is. Both systems are reactionary in the prosecution and the punishment. The state system and the anarchist system. But there does exist in the state system an option of forcible removal from the society. So you won't be able to perpetrate those activities upon the society again. And I think that's legitimate. I think that's a legitimate function of society. And so, that's the question I have. First of all, these people aren't rational. Somebody that's going around murdering, murder, with the known consequences, somebody that goes ahead and does it is an irrational individual. And then you're going to say, we're going to solve this through a rational decision-making process of, do you want your life to be miserable, or do you want to come to the punishment camp? I mean, first of all, rational individuals would not even choose to go to the punishment camp. But these people are irrational. And lastly, I don't see a mechanism to prevent the behavior in the future.